Hello everyone, it's Carl. I haven't done a video for quite a few weeks. I've been in another coronavirus lockdown in Melbourne, which has been not very fun. Anyway, I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Laura. I'm one of Carl's support workers.
Yay, that's why Laura is wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Because she's been contractually obligated to wear one and may be fired if she's not wearing one. I'm not wearing one because...
No, you don't need one.
Yeah,
no,
well...
just me.
The risk of coronavirus at the moment, where we are, has gone down again, which is good. But yeah, but you might as well, you can be naughty for a minute and show everyone your face if you want.
Hey everyone.
You better put it back on.
Yeah, no, nice and quick.
Don't tell anyone about that. That was very inappropriate. Sorry about that. We are what day is it? It's like day 2 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah, out of lockdown.
Out of lockdown. I think
our fifth lockdown. Yeah.
Melbourne has had
Number 5.
5 lockdowns so far. Fingers crossed. There won't be too many more.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be a bit brave to say that there'll be no more.
No, fingers crossed.
But fingers crossed.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah. And I think at the moment in Australia, the vaccination rate of fully vaccinated people, don't hold me to this, but it's about 15% or something.
Yeah, I heard something like 13 something. That sounds right. And then first dose is like 30 something.
Yeah.
31 maybe.
Which is better than it was, but it's still pretty terrible compared to our global competitors.
Yeah.
In England and America.
Yeah. Is everyone allowed to get vaccinated right now?
Well, there's been some issues in terms of the rollout, because the 2 vaccines able to be given out or administered in Australia are the AstraZeneca one and the Pfizer one. I know if you're watching from overseas, there's more options which aren't yet available in Australia, and our government has been in a bit of trouble because they bought lots of the AstraZeneca vaccine and not much of the Pfizer one, and no other real options, and then it's all been delayed because of the extra risks with the AstraZeneca vaccine, and so that wasn't known at the time, but then around the world, a decent number of people started getting, I think it was blood clotting.
Blood clots, yeah.
Yeah, as a result of that, and then I think rightly Australia was like, oh, we better slow down on that and not offer that to people who are younger. So and this happened about 2 days after I got my first AstraZeneca shot. So
did it actually, and it all came out.
Yeah, so I was one of the earlier ones to get that, because I was in an earlier rollout group because I have a disability, and I got that one, and yeah, it was interesting because I was, I was able to get it, which is good, but then all the news broke about it being potentially bad. But then now they've done some more kind of what's the word, research, and the actual chances of anything bad happening when you get it are quite low.
Did you have any side effects when you had the vaccine?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't have any. I didn't get any of the bad blood clotting and stuff like that.
No.
And I read, I think recently, that you're more likely to get struck by lightning.
Oh, really?
And you're like 40 times more likely to get hit by a car or something, or...
Oh, wow.
I don't know. So it's it's one of those things where it makes sense that they said to preference the Pfizer one over that one at the time.
Yeah.
Because, obviously if there's a risk, people would preference the one where there's less risk.
The less risk, yeah, absolutely.
But then the bigger risk is actually getting the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's something that, we were relatively lucky to be pretty coronavirus free in Australia when they were doing the rollout of the vaccine.
Yeah. We had low numbers.
But now up north in Sydney, they're going through a pretty
they've had huge numbers. Yeah, they're in a huge lockdown though. Yeah.
So now they're probably not going to be getting out of their lockdown for
a while. A few weeks at least.
I think
it was a month extended.
A month or maybe 2.
Maybe longer.
Who knows? But now they're saying that because of that risk, they're urging everyone, if possible, to get the AstraZeneca vaccine because the risk of them dying of or getting really bad symptoms of coronavirus.
Yeah, well, the more numbers, you've got more people in intensive care unit, more people in the hospital who are really unwell. Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. Obviously, no one would want to get a vaccine unless they, have to. But
you want to trust that you're getting something safe that's going to help.
Yeah.
Trigger an immune response. So if you are exposed to the virus, your immune system can fight it off really quickly and prevent spread and infection.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not something that I'm an expert on.
Neither am I.
And that's why I'm not one to give advice. To people.
No, yeah.
I think it's that thing where just because you read something on Facebook doesn't mean you're an expert.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And when people say that they've done their research, doing research doesn't involve reading a couple of random posts.
No Twitter
Facebook.
articles or anything like that.
Research is something where you study and do peer review and you different samples and all that stuff.
It's appraised by lots of evidence, lots of other experts in the field.
So I trust them to know more about that than you or I.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But it was it was interesting when I got the first vaccine, the first one, because that was apparently the one that as you said, Laura, that it triggers your immune response. And so I had it, and the next morning, I felt fine. I was feeling good. And I went to work at the time.
You're like, I've escaped the worst of it. Yeah.
And then I just felt I felt a little bit kind of delirious and a little bit kind of sweaty and a bit kind of frazzled, a bit kind of flu-y symptoms. And so I went home and watched TV and
had some fluids,
ate junk food and stuff like that.
Yeah, self-care.
Yeah. And then I told some of my support workers about that, and they were a little bit kind of scared about getting the vaccine. And I said that it was actually good that I had those kind of symptoms, because that's my body kind of fighting off a similar, in fact, what do you say, like an immune response?
Yeah, well, your body can it sees like a
antibodies.
Yeah, something like that.
Again, we're not scientists.
No.
But it's that thing where if I was that, if I felt quite unwell for a day after the vaccine, I probably wouldn't feel very well at all if I got the coronavirus, and I'll be one of those people who probably would die, to be honest. Because my lungs are pretty terrible, so wouldn't be very good. But
it's a case of you'd rather feel a bit under the weather from the vaccine than be critically unwell.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the second shot I had a couple of weeks ago, and that was totally fine. I felt fine.
No side effects?
No. But they didn't give me one of those stickers saying that I've been vaxxed.
Oh, really?
So
that's disappointing.
A little bit upset about that.
You should put some feedback on that.
Yeah.
Where'd you go for your vaccine?
Just a local general practice.
Nice.
Yeah. And have you been jabbed?
Yeah, I was jabbed a few months ago. I had the Pfizer vaccine.
Yes.
Because I'm not over 50. And
no,
you're neither are you. No, I wasn't. I was eligible for Pfizer, so I had the Pfizer vaccine. And I went to the Northern Hospital. And then I was eligible because I work in disability, but also because I'm studying health science and I have placement in a hospital. So they said I was eligible. So I had mine back in May. And I felt fine after the first one, a little bit of a headache. And then after the second one, I felt sort of hot and cold. So a bit sweaty overnight. So you were... a bit dehydrated, but nothing that knocked me out or anything.
Did you work the next day or did you study?
I took the day off. I got it on my second jab was on a Friday, so I had the weekend to recover. I might have given away a shift at yours because I was like, I just need to recover. And gave it a few days and I was good to go. And my arm was it wasn't too sore. It was the same as the flu shot. Just that sort of tender sort of feeling the next day. But I got to the gym and it was fine. So overall didn't knock me around too much. Yeah.
And I think again, any pain you get or discomfort is definitely outweighed by the sense of superiority we now have.
I don't know about superiority.
No, but we are part of the 15% in Australia.
Yeah, very cool. That's cool when you think about it like that. Yeah.
But being more serious, it is good because it does two main things. Obviously decreases the risk of catching the coronavirus, but also if we're still unlucky enough to get it, it really, really decreases the risk.
The transmission.
Also the transmission, but also
the effect on your health.
Yeah, the severity, So
your body can launch an immune response much faster because it will recognise the virus and say, all right, well, we need to destroy it, get rid of it as fast as we can. So you might not even realise that you're unwell because your body could fight it off so quickly. Yeah. Whereas if you weren't vaccinated and you're exposed to the virus, it could either, treat it like a flu, you could be really unwell, or you could end up in hospital and be, critically unwell.
And that's the thing. So if I do happen to get it, even though I've been vaccinated, the chances of something, going really badly for me will be much reduced than before. So that's
it keeps the community a lot safer. Absolutely. Yep.
And then we can hopefully, start to go overseas again and do all the
we hope eventually reach a point where we have a herd immunity and a really large number of the population are vaccinated, and when we see these case numbers, it's not a case of lockdown because we've got a huge number of people vaccinated and life just continues as normal. And then hopefully one day it's COVID is just like the flu. Either it's disappeared or during winter season we just have the flu-like symptoms, but life goes on.
But there's been some drama in Australia, in Sydney and Melbourne, particularly in Sydney. They had an anti-lockdown protest where thousands of people were protesting, saying we need to stop the lockdown. Ironically, they all gathered in large groups, which was
no social distancing,
against the public health order and all that stuff. Complaining about their civil liberties and freedom and all that stuff. And it's a bit silly because they're extending the lockdown by doing that, because surely that would have spread the coronavirus further in Sydney, and now they're in lockdown for at least another month
or so.
And I'm sure I'm pretty confident it'll be more than that because the case numbers are still going up. So it's all well and good to talk about freedom. But
I think people have a right to be upset. No one wants to be in lockdown, and people can feel quite disenfranchised and out of control, and there's nothing you can do about it, and it is really tough. But I think you have to separate the viruses. It's not a political issue, it's a health issue, and so you got to care for others in the community first. And there are other ways to voice your concern rather than showing up and all together and spreading the virus even further, because nothing will be achieved from a protest. And we've seen people have protested throughout, probably particularly New South Wales and Victoria, but nothing changes as a result of protesting.
No, if anything, it just
well, it just increases the lockdown and the number of cases that go around. We've got to find a better way to advocate for what when we want change, and I don't know anyone who wants to be in a lockdown. No one does.
No.
So,
and I think that's the other thing. You know, people often who protest against these lockdowns, they say that they say the government wants us to be in lockdown, and I find that really stupid because, you know, the government doesn't want us to be in lockdown because they would much rather, you know, we're all going about spending money at cafes, travelling, injecting money into the economy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Working, all of that stuff. So,
well, I mean, if you strip it down, a lockdown isn't profitable, and the government wants to run off profits and, you know, exactly. Community health, and like it's not financially responsible to keep us all inside forever. So the aim with, especially when they throw the term snap lockdown is to get the numbers back to zero as fast as possible, and then, you know, when it's safe, open everything up and then stimulate the economy further. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, luckily I haven't been personally affected by any of the tragedy and stuff, but you know, you keep hearing stories where people, you know, bring the coronavirus back home to their family and, you know, inadvertently, you know, either make their family really ill,
a loved one, or even like a grandparent, you know, a close relative
who often dies from it. So I don't know, this is our late night coronavirus
thoughts
rant. Probably been talking forever now, but if you've been watching this all the way through, congratulations.
Would, you know, comment what you think about the lockdown as well, and protesters, and let us know how the lockdowns affected you. Yeah,
and I think, you know, if you're from overseas and you're watching this, you know, you're probably a bit surprised that Australia's been locking down, you know, in Melbourne when there's only been a couple of cases.
Comparatively quite severe and strict lockdowns as opposed to other nations around the world.
But I think it's that thing where, you know, I'm quite, you know, grateful that they've done that, because they've put the health of people like myself in front of, you know, being unpopular politically, or in front of business interests and
making money,
stuff like that. Yeah. So yep. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Thanks, Laura, for ranting with me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hopefully once everyone gets the vax, you can take your mask down.
Yeah.
And not risk being fired by your employer.
My employer.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. And yeah, I'll do a new video soon. I promise it won't be 3 weeks away like this one, or 4 weeks away. Anyway, I've been busy doing nothing, so yeah. Anyway, bye.
Cool. Bye.